Well, there's a racial divide in our country, and it's been fostered by the Labour government, particularly Jacinda Ardern and the lockdowns. That's separated us as a country on a lot of levels. But one of the levels that I think we had division in is the race one. And ever since then, we've been subjected to race-based politics that has not been healthy for our country. With co-governance, I don't agree with co-governance. We're all, at the end of the day, living in this country, and we all need equal rights to be able to access all of the services that government's supposed to supply, but also to be able to be one people together, in one nation, and that the one law works for everybody also equally without discrimination. So my take is on this, and I think there's a couple of key issues I'd like to mention about Māori. The first one is, we're talking about law and order first, and I'll talk about the other part after that. But law and order, what I see here is something that we all think, but nobody's really saying. So I will say it here on camera, that primarily the crime problem in this country is due to Māori in disproportionate manner being the perpetrators of the crime. You'll see in the ram raids, it is mostly young Māori kids, and it's also connected to the gangs, which are also primarily Māori. You'll find also the domestic violence percentages are higher with Māori than any other particular race. And also in the Māori families, we break down and we have generational trauma, which is the problem that's been passed on. And this has really affected Māori families particularly. So if you want to reduce the crime in this country, you've got to be able to reduce the crime coming through Māori. That's a fact. Our prisons are full with Māori. We see in the court system, mostly Māori, and the recidivism in Māori offenders is very high. So you've got to approach this not from a way where National particularly, and Labour, and Mr Seymour for ACT have been trying to do. They're trying to apply probably more, sentencing, some of the justice, some of the ways they want to handle Māori criminality is done from a white perspective. That's all I can say about that. It doesn't fit. And they'd have to find pen pushers, or they have to throw it off to iwi. And here's another problem, because iwi is struggling. Māori, in a sense, has let down Māori. They are not providing them with the benefits that Māori have got through their compensations, 30 years on now. And some of the Māori tribes have got billion-dollar profits. That money is not getting to where it really is needed. And that's to the desperate Māori families on the ground that are struggling to make ends meet. Poverty is a big problem, and of course the breakdown of family, and that's where my concern is you've got to really do something about Māori family. The whānau and the hapu is not working. It's totally damaged, and it's historically, it has never been able to get out of the once were warriors upbringing or mentality. It's still there. So I can tell you this, because of what Man Up has done already and is doing now, and limited by no funding from government and volunteers after work to do this, we're having great success in being able to turn around Māori families into healthy, functional families. We're able to stop recidivism in Māori who have been offending and going back to prison many times, serial recidivists. We've turned them around. Man Up is doing that now. So we have an answer. There's a solution to this whole problem. But I'm fighting against a wall of bureaucracy, politicising from parties who want to hold their dishonest ground, wasting taxpayers' money and failed programs, failing in the system itself, the judicial system failing, at the fronts with police. They don't know what to do, but we do. So here's the solution about bringing what is working together with what is failing. The only way we can do this is on the 14th of October. That's the coming elections. Now, I've spoken to you about this now, about the solution of Man Up, to get that to where it's needed, to be able to turn this around and turn crime on its head and finish it for good. I will be able to do that, but you have to bring your vote, party vote, Freedoms New Zealand, to get us over the 5% threshold and to get this great law and order policy and get Man Up and proper sentencing and getting tough on crime on one side, but we have got to stop the cycle of criminal offending. That's the way to do it.